Reach into your pocket right now and find a coin. Run your thumb along the edge. Feel those tiny grooves, that rough little ridge running all the way around. You've touched it 10,000 times and never once asked why it's there. Here's the strange part. Those grooves are a 300-year-old anti-theft device. They were engineered to stop a specific crime, and that crime basically doesn't exist anymore. So why are they still on the coin in your hand? Ask most people why coins have ridges, and they'll give you the obvious answer. Grip. The grooves help you hold the coin, help you pull it out of a slot, keep it from sliding off the table. Others will say it's decoration, a nice finished look. It sounds reasonable. It's the kind of answer that feels true. But it's wrong, completely wrong. The ridges have almost nothing to do with grip, and to understand why they really exist, you have to go back to a time when the coin in your pocket was worth exactly what it was made of. For most of human history, money wasn't a symbol, it was the thing itself. A gold coin was valuable because it was gold. A silver shilling was worth a shilling because it contained a shilling's worth of silver. The metal was the money, and that simple fact created a temptation almost impossible to resist, because if you had a silver coin with a nice smooth edge, you could take a small knife or a pair of shears and shave a thin sliver of silver right off the rim. Just a little, barely noticeable. Then you'd spend the coin at full value and keep the shaving. Do that to one coin, you've got a scrap of metal. Do it to 1,000 coins passing through your hands and you've quietly stolen a small fortune. They called it clipping, and clipping was everywhere. By the late 1600s in England, the problem had spiraled completely out of control. The silver coins in circulation were a disaster. People were so used to clip money that an honest, full-weight coin became a target. If you received one, you didn't spend it. You clipped it yourself, or you melted it down. A government study from the period found that bags of coins meant to hold a certain weight of silver were coming up dramatically short. Sometimes nearly half their silver gone, shaved away by 1,000 anonymous hands. The whole money system was bleeding to death, and here's where it gets strange, because the man brought in to fix it was not a banker, or a politician, or a soldier. It was Isaac Newton. Yes, that Isaac Newton, the man who explained gravity, who invented calculus, who split white light into a rainbow. In 1696, at the age of 53, Newton took a government job as warden of the Royal Mint. Most people assumed it was a quiet, comfortable position, a reward for a famous scholar to collect a salary and do nothing. Newton had other ideas. He threw himself into the war against clippers and counterfeiters with a cold, almost frightening intensity. He personally interrogated suspects. He sent agents into the taverns and slums of London to gather evidence. He built case files. Newton tracked down one master counterfeiter named William Challoner, a man who had the nerve to publicly accuse the mint itself of corruption. Newton spent months hunting him, gathering testimony from dozens of witnesses. Challoner was convicted and hanged in 1699. Newton, the gentle philosopher, had sent a man to the gallows, and he did not lose sleep over it. But Newton understood something deeper than any single arrest. You can hang every clipper in London, and new ones will appear tomorrow as long as the coins themselves invite the crime. The real solution wasn't punishment, it was design. And this is the answer to the grooves. This is what they're actually for. The idea was simple and brilliant. If a smooth edge can be shaved without anyone noticing, then make the edge impossible to shave without it showing. So the mint began producing coins with a pattern stamped right into the rim. Sometimes it was tiny lettering. Sometimes it was the ridges we still see today, called reeding. Now, if a clipper tried to shave silver off the edge, they would destroy the pattern. The damage would be obvious to anyone who looked. A clipped coin would announce itself. The theft became visible, and a visible theft is a theft nobody can get away with. This was part of a massive effort called the Great Recoinage of 1696. Across England, old clipped coins were called in and melted down, and new machine-made coins took their place, struck with precise, even, reeded edges that no hand could shave in secret. The machines that made them, screw presses and edge-marking devices, refined decades earlier by an engineer named Peter Blondeau, could do something a hammer never could. They could mark the edge perfectly, every time. The English even put it into words. Around the rim of certain coins, they engraved a Latin phrase, decus et tutemen. It means an ornament and a safeguard. A safeguard. They were telling you, right there on the edge of the coin, exactly what those markings were for. Protection against the thief with the knife. So that's the real reason coins have ridges. Not grip, not decoration. They are the fossil of a war against clipping, a security feature designed by one of the greatest minds in history to defend the value of metal money. But here's the thing, and this is where it gets genuinely strange. That war is over. We won. Clipping is dead. Think about the coin in your pocket right now. It isn't silver, it isn't gold. It's a base metal, copper, nickel, zinc, Cheap stuff worth almost nothing. The metal in a modern coin is worth far less than the number stamped on its face. Shaving a sliver off the edge would gain you a flake of worthless alloy. Nobody is clipping coins anymore. There is no point. The crime the ridges were built to stop has been extinct for a century. So why are the grooves still there? Why do we keep manufacturing an anti-theft device for a theft that can't happen? Part of the answer is simple inertia. Once a coin looks a certain way, people trust that look. Change it and money feels fake, feels wrong. Tradition has a gravity of its own, but the deeper answer is that the ridges quietly found new jobs. They never retired, they just changed careers. The first new job is the vending machine. When you drop a coin into a slot, the machine has to identify it in a fraction of a second. It measures the diameter, the weight, the metal, and the edge. A reeded edge reflects light and conducts electricity differently than a smooth one. Those grooves became a fingerprint that machines use to tell a real quarter from a slug, a genuine coin from a fake. The feature built to stop a man with shears now stops a man with a counterfeit in a way Newton could never have imagined. And the second new job might be the most human of all. The ridges help people who cannot see. Pick up a handful of coins in the dark or close your eyes and you can still tell them apart. Many countries now design their coins on purpose so that a blind or visually impaired person can identify each one by touch alone, by the pattern on its edge. Some are smooth, some are reeded, some have interrupted grooves and sections. In the United States, the penny and the nickel have smooth edges, while the dime and quarter are reeded, a leftover from when those coins held silver and the cheaper ones didn't. That old distinction, born from clipping, now serves as a tactile code. A security feature against theft became a tool of dignity and independence. So run your thumb along that edge one more time. Feel the grooves. You are touching a decision made over 300 years ago, in a war you never knew was fought, against thieves who have all been dead for centuries, designed by a man better known for explaining the stars. The reason has vanished. The ridges remain. And they quietly do new work he never planned. For machines that didn't exist and for people he never met. The coin in your hand is small and ordinary and worth almost nothing, but its edge is a museum, and you've been carrying it around this whole time, never once stopping to read what it was trying to tell you.